Welcome back. Well, a High Court in Pretoria has upheld a decision to set aside the findings of the Arms Deal Commission.
Judges William Seriti and Hendrik Musi wanted the decision to invalidate the findings overturned. They were accused of failing to properly investigate the arms deal. Verushka Memdutt, National Coordinator at Right to Know, one of the respondents to the case, joins us now. A very good morning to you, Verushka, and thank you so much for joining us. So what exactly does this mean?
Good morning. Well, for the Right to Know campaign and another organization who are the applicants in the matter, it does mean that the court has upheld the voice of the people. For us, it is very important that in a time where politicians act with impunity, a court has acted in the interest of the people.
In this instance, I know that in 2019, the North Gauteng High Court actually set aside the findings of the Arms Deal Commission. What does that mean now?
So the matter was then appealed recently. However, I think it was meant to have been appealed within 15 days, and it took them at least almost 2 years or more to appeal the matter. For whatever reasons, the time delay did not make sense, And yes, we all have access to the law and access to the justice system. We make use of it, but in essence, the justice system must serve the interests of the people and uphold that very law. So for us, what it means is that the law has been upheld, and indeed, the days of impunity are being taken care of, basically. People who are involved in actions that are not lawful, that do not serve the interests of the people, that do not take into consideration the actual incidents that impact the findings, will be dealt with as should be.
Verushka, as one of the respondents, I would imagine this you find to be a win in a very you've won one of the battles in a very long war, but do you feel that the war will ever be won? There is so much where the arms deal is concerned, and all the controversy that's around that, and so many people that are involved, that I imagine the Right to Know campaign will want to see brought to justice or brought to book. But do you ever feel like this war can ever be won?
You refer to it as a war, but we refer to it as service. But it is a step, and the only way we're going to find ourselves in a position to say we are winning. In fact, we are winning, definitely. But to say we have won is going to be very difficult. What we would need is ordinary citizens like yourself and myself, many others out there, to decide to take a stand, to stand up and say, why is this happening? Not in my name. At what stage, are we going to speak out, speak up? I think the interest of the people lies in their voice, and it cannot be done alone. The Right to Know campaign is here. We go out, we do the work, we act in the interest of the people, we act for the people, with the people. And what we actually require going forward is for people to show interest in their own lives. And I think that is very important as in matters as this. If someone had not spoken out, if someone had not decided to say, this is not acceptable, we will not accept it, many would have remained silent, and we would not have reached this stage in a democracy. And I think in any democracy, actions as these are very relevant to hold the democracy accountable.
Yeah. As you're speaking about this, Judge Hendrik Musi, as well as the Commission Chair, Judge Willie Seriti, were the ones that were overseeing the Seriti Commission, right? This Arms Deal Commission that saw about 140 billion rand being lost. 140 billion rand, which I may argue maybe have used for a better kind of, mechanism. There's education to be upheld. There's hospitals that need to be built and the like. And this was used to procure arms, where the argument would then became, but is South Africa in a vulnerable position to actually be overhauling the military military at the time. But what does it also say now, Verushka, about the very same judges? Because you see, if you set aside a commission of inquiry and the findings thereof, it says something about you as the judges who presided over the commission itself. Questions around whether or not you were compromised start, being asked. Questions around whether there's some beneficiation to it. Where was your mindset at? Were you acting in the best interests of the Republic of South Africa, or were you acting in the best interests of the politicians that were involved at the time? And questions around our judicial system have been asked time and time again. And I'm sure this in itself adds fuel to that existing fire around what is happening within our judiciary, what is happening within our judges, are our judges even compromised, and to what extent?
Yeah. So I think in the matter of the Seriti Commission, we need to look at the members of the judiciary who were involved in this matter. And in this matter, it is very clear. The behavior of these judges clearly showed that the commission had failed its mandate and hence was challenged. So yes, there is a concern about the judicial system, but in this matter, we need to look at who from the judicial system we are pointing fingers at.
Now, I still want to go back to the point of if we're going to see any accountability. There are heads of state, of course, who are being, involved in something like the arms deal. And as Faith had mentioned, that were the judges then compromised by the politicians who were then involved? Is it so deep, this issue of the arms deal and, of course, the commission and now the findings being set aside? Is it so deep that perhaps those that, the head of the snake may never actually be chopped off? We'll never even know what the head of the snake actually looks like.
Well, I don't know what exactly it is you want me to say there, but, the head of the snake can only be chopped off if the voice of the people becomes louder, if those involved are prepared and ready to do what it takes. The arms deal was a huge step in holding people accountable to some extent. It was in fact a huge statement to let politicians know that, at no stage can you act with impunity and it will be overlooked by ordinary people. So there are good people out there, and when it comes to holding people accountable, we as an organization will continuously push to ensure that accountability is held as best possible with the support of all of you, everyone out there.